Why, hello, fellow muselings. I hope you are well. We've been watching, as has many people, Amazon Prime's The Rings of Power, and we're currently at episode 4. And we've got quite a lot to say already. Are you right there, Reese?
Oh, Steve, you really are a politician.
I am a politician, thank you, my friend. Okay.
Bizarre show.
Within 15 minutes of the first episode, they're confronted by a ice troll, which is obviously reminiscent of a similar scene in the Fellowship of the Ring.
And we think one of these is working really well, and the other one, not so much.
Reese, what is the difference, between an ice troll and a cave troll?
Well, one dwells in really evil cold, and the other has more emotion than Galadriel.
That's fair. Okay, so what we're going to do is compare the two scenes, and we're going to start with the Rings of Power. So.
Yeah, all jokes aside, we are going to try and be as fair as possible with this, because what we want to do is look at the mechanics of the scenes themselves, rather than just sort of go over whether we enjoyed it or not, because
and we're going to start...
that doesn't really tell you much.
Precisely. We're going to start where the trolls first start physically interacting with the Fellowship, or the...
Well, it's more of when they're prepared, just before the fight begins,
Yeah.
because obviously the Fellowship one, there's a little bit of stuff going on beforehand.
That's the one. Let's do this, right? Now, I think you'll probably agree with me, Reese, that that's a pretty strong start. You know, they've run down a corridor, a narrow corridor, and they've thrown a torch to illuminate the passage so that they can evidently see their target.
Yeah, I like the idea. Unfortunately, though, they are holding a torch right in front of their faces, meaning they're just not going to see anything. This is like a trope in a lot of films that really annoys.
Maybe they've got magical elf eyes, okay?
Well, according to the rest of the series, those elf eyes are pretty rubbish, but that can come up another time,
Right, okay.
I guess.
We're showing our cards. Okay, but the troll can see them nevertheless. He's a smart git, all right? And he bowls a giant ice
He can
ball.
see them because they're holding a torch in front of them.
That does help, yeah. So he bowls a giant ice ball of death, and he gets a strike.
Yep. So what
stuff.
we're seeing here is the troll's clearly dangerous, and it's even shown that it's smart enough to attack from the dark. Good stuff. Yeah, like that.
And the noise of that massive slam of the giant ice ball, which brought Galadriel in, she stops and she watches.
Yeah, just sort of, right, everyone's in danger, let's see what goes on. And, we, alongside Galadriel, just sort of watch all of her other elven warriors just get smashed to bits by Chodenko.
Yeah.
That's the name we're going to go with.
Yeah, okay.
And clearly, as the scene goes on, we see that she doesn't actually get involved just yet. There's no response from her.
Yes, I will say, though, that Chodenko's strength is on full display. And I like this. I like when an enemy actually looks like it's a threat, right? He's absolutely established as a badass here. You could say that he's put so much fear into Galadriel that she's not moving.
Well, it'd be nice if we saw that on her face. I do agree. Visually, this is really cool. It does look great.
All right.
The problem I'm getting is it really a threat, or are these elven warriors completely incompetent? Because they are just sort of running up and standing there.
It's very true. Okay, so we're going to pause here with my main man Phil crushed against a wall. Okay,
just to now note then that Galadriel has been watching this thing for 15 seconds.
It's 15 seconds.
Yeah.
15 seconds she's been standing there.
That's quite a long time when everyone's getting crushed to pieces.
Like if this is how she treats her friends, I would hate to be her enemy. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So you know what the problem is? She wants all the XP. she knows she'll get all of it if there are, the rest of her party's unconscious or dead.
I'm not going to argue against that. Okay, look. Last thing before we continue. If Phil survives that crush, and he is my main man, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Or Dave, I'm adding that as well, whose head is presumably now in his pelvis.
Yeah.
If he gets up, then I'm going to be mildly annoyed.
Well, you won't be alone, because Galadriel was evidently also mildly annoyed. Probably because Phil and Dave are absolutely fine, as we'll see shortly.
Yes.
But she does now finally engage, along with Thondir, whose only contribution to this fight is to literally be a stepping stone for Galadriel.
Talking of which, he swings out his wonderful sword with one hand, but through the magic of editing, he has two hands on it after the cut.
Yeah, well, this is a nitpick, of course, but don't worry, we will get to Gimli's axe a bit later.
Yeah.
The reason we wanted to raise this is because, like all continuity errors, it damages the flow, and when you're analysing things more slowly like this, these things become much more obvious.
Now, here's a question, right? Mm-hmm. This sword maneuver, Did they practice it? Is this what they learnt in elf school?
I hate this one. it actually really bugs me because the first thing he's chosen to do here is give Galadriel a ramp. Why is he himself not charging in to help his friends?
Well, to be fair, maybe they know that they need to get up high to deliver a forceful blow, right?
Or maybe Galadriel's just so powerful that their best move in every single fight is to get her in there.
In any case, that move would be justified, right? So let's see them perform it. Let's see this be executed.
Yeah, we'll see it executed, but sorry, Steve. Phil is fine.
I swear to God, if Dave is also fine, I'm out. I'm just out. He should have his head in his pelvis.
Well, the wire work here it's just horrible. It makes her cut look really weak as well. She looks floaty rather than...
Yes, and so this is a really serious problem, right? It's a superficial slash, but perhaps they just rolled low damage, right? Fair enough, sometimes your protagonist isn't going to get, natural 20s all the time, but...
What's this unnecessary sword flourishing while looking away?
She's so powerful that she doesn't even consider the troll a threat.
She should. She just crushed everyone else.
Yeah, and this makes her staring from earlier a bit more odd.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And as I was saying earlier, these warriors are competent. They'd be better suited to gardening.
Yes, they would. And there's another one-handed slash with her clearly two-handed sword and a notoriously vulnerable location, the knee.
Yeah, and the cut.
But it's a critical hit.
Yeah, it is. But the cut is the thing that I'm looking at here. It's really sort of janky. It doesn't flow very well. Look at this bit.
Yes, and there's another janky cut with a fancy pose with her back to the enemy, really expressing she could not give any fucks.
Throwing that cut, that would just be... Throwing a cut across your back, it's just an incredibly weak thing to do. Okay, yeah, she's an elf, she's stronger.
Yes.
So why not go for a strong cut and add your strength to the strong cut?
That would be the point, I would think, of her springing off her friend that's only there to make her stronger. But here, there you go, there's a two-handed shot.
Yay.
Good stuff. Yeah, yay.
Yeah, this one, she stabs it into its neck and easily slices up through its jaw before again showing us how badass she is by looking away and flourishing.
And she finishes the fight with a tiny, pathetic stab, and she wasn't even bothered to look at poor Chidenko in the face.
Yeah, and look at her. She's not stressed, not tired, just mildly inconvenienced.
But we do now know why she's inconvenienced. As you can see from this scene, the troll has already despawned. And so what this means is that they didn't get any loot after all.
So she didn't... Well, maybe she still got the XP. Can't she at least be happy about that?
Yeah.
And sorry, look, in this same scene, Dave is just fine.
I'm out.
In fact, they're all fine.
I'm out.
So she had to share that experience.
He, show the scene again, right? Look how hard he's hit. And he's just fine.
Well,
great. So that's that, Reese. What do you make of it?
Well, it's got some pretty damn good visuals going on. The CG work is solid. That troll looks amazing, and I quite like the use of lightning to illuminate the fight. It's got some nice spectacle going on as a result of that.
I agree, but I've noticed that you're focusing exclusively on aesthetics. You're suggesting, if you don't mind, that it's a polished herd.
Yes, I don't see much else that I can praise in that fight. In terms of... Just look at it in general, right? You've got Galadriel's warriors there. They're nameless as far as I'm concerned, so that's the only thing I can call them.
Yep.
Galadriel's warriors. And they're all apparently completely incompetent. There's one guy running around with no sword, gets grabbed and thrown around.
Yeah.
They all get knocked back, seemingly without ever scoring a single hit.
Yep.
And then Galadriel comes in and just instantly defeats it. She's even got time to do these little flourishes and all the rest of it. So you've got a situation where either she's overpowered or she's as powerful as most elves, but her warriors that came with her are completely incompetent.
It actually reminds me of like a D&D campaign where you have it so that one person is like a min-maxed, just complete champ.
Yeah.
Going around cleaning house, and the others are essentially only there to make it so that they can get their hits in.
So that's an NPC party that's not actually getting involved.
Essentially.
Their initial thing was they get hit about, and then because they're not on screen anymore, they don't exist in the fight.
Yeah. They're meant to be elite warriors. That's the thing that really irks me. Like, they're meant to be just as capable as Galadriel.
Yeah.
Or at least, like, very capable.
It's what you'd expect.
Yeah, it's what you'd expect. I like the way that they brought in Shevchenko. So,
Smashing its way.
Yeah,
bowling them over, rather.
absolutely. Like, it felt like a real threat. It didn't follow up on that, of course, but it did. I do like the introduction that they gave to that character. I thought that was good. It would have been more befitting if it had actually hurt some of her allies. It would have made sense with the storyline and whatnot and why they end up leaving her. But
Yeah, I mean, seeing at the end of the fight, all of them are fine.
they're all fine. Yeah, yeah. So
if we're going to give the fight as a whole, then a single word to sum it up, would you go with disappointing?
broadly, yes. Yeah, I think it's a lot of lost opportunity.
Yeah,
I would agree
for
with that.
characterization of Galadriel at the very least.
Yeah.
Because she's going to be one of our main characters going forward.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Well then, shall we, before speaking more about this, shall we head on and give an analysis of the scene from Lord of the Rings Jackson?
The Fellowship of the Ring. Yeah.
That's the one. Let's do it.
They have a cave troll.
Indeed, they have a cave troll, and I've always loved this delivery.
Yeah, Sean Bean's great. I love to see him.
Yeah, but we knew, of course, that he was going to die because he's Sean Bean.
Yep. But we do have all of our fighters here playing an active role, acting on what they have available to them, barring the door, protecting the hobbits. Everyone's engaged here. Already.
Yes, yeah. I mean, Gimli is angry for his loss of his dead kin. He's emoting hard. I don't know about you, but I'd say that Gimli is very much a barbarian, and he is here declaring rage.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But in comparison to the other show, where Galadriel dispassionately watched her kin die in front of... Well, no, not die, but just watch them get beaten up in front of her. She was just sort of holding her action for the fight.
She's that player. So, okay, they're all scared and prepared. Well, some of them are scared, some of them are prepared.
Yeah, and I love the use of the music and everything in here, because this scene is building suspense beautifully.
Yep.
They were definitely going for it in the other fight, but I think it's more intense here.
Yep, and they get the first shot, or of course Legolas does, that's what he does, and it's either hurt or killed an orc. And it's just great to see that they're focused, they're prepared, they're a fellowship, you see what I did there?
And they're good at what they do.
Very good at what they do. Now, because they're switching shots between different characters, there is no jagged fighting. It's an advantage they've taken use
but we
of.
do get this weird pose from Aragorn when chopping off its head. But, well, he is emoting, so I'll let
There
it
is
pass.
emotion, yeah. Talking of emotion, let's slow this down. Sam's lip quivering as the troll approaches.
Yeah.
That is subtle and brilliant. I love it.
It's beautiful. I
Yeah.
love to see this. Our cave troll, let's call him Krukov.
Yep.
He's finally here, and similar to the other fight, he's demonstrating his strength right at the beginning by just smashing through this rock.
He's really given you the feel of something that's that big. Mm-hmm. Now we see a hobbit, a gardener, that can dodge a troll, but apparently those elite elves can't. So maybe they were tired or, let's say, cold from it being evil.
Aragorn's using the chain that's still on the troll here to save others, so it's good to see him using the environment. The fight itself feels like it's being more creative already.
Yeah, it demonstrates with him as well his intellect and his cunning. It's using his attributes. Just as Legolas got the first shot, he's now using his intellect and cunning to use the environment.
This bit's quite funny. Aragorn lets go of the chain.
Yep.
And unfortunately, Boromir's confused for a moment.
And he's going to go the way of the bean. Yeah, so he gets caught off guard. I love his reaction. He's slammed into the wall. Now, as a human, he should be utterly fucked by that. I'm talking broken bones, his arm at least ripped out of its socket, maybe off his torso. He should not get up. No way.
Do you put more credence on his survival or Phil's survival?
I'll be honest with you, I think that both should be gone. You know what? I'm going to say right now that Boromir really should not be getting up compared to Dave.
No, I agree.
Aragorn nods in agreement with us, so that's good. He probably doesn't have the time for that, but I guess it's a moment to show that he cares.
Yes, but he is going to want that sword back, and quickly. I wouldn't be getting rid of my sword in this scenario.
That's true. Talking of throwing weapons, Gimli throws his weapon to get attention. It's not a nat 20, of course. And then the troll forces him from his high ground. It's over, Gimli.
I really love how we see these hobbits that are clearly scared, but even then, Merry and Pippin are still trying to protect Frodo.
Yeah, the other characters being engaged goes just a massive way, just with them in the background and whatnot, rather than watching
It sells you on
dispassionately.
the fight.
Yeah.
We are getting a bit lucky here, though, I'll say that.
Yeah, that's true. Another character, we've got Legolas again. So now that's 3 of them that are distracting the troll, despite, well, Legolas is still occupied.
Yeah, there's plenty of orcs around. They're all pulling their weight. There's no one just watching.
Yeah. Dodges, but looks worried.
Oh, he looks worried because he can see his enemy.
That's true.
Oh, but that is a bit of a janky cut there, I think.
Yeah, it is. Okay, Legolas uses the environment to position himself, and he didn't need an ally whose sole occupation appears to be setting him up for the shot. So good for him.
But this does helpfully demonstrate why we didn't complain about Galadriel's ability to run up a sword.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen it before. Elves are light enough to run across even chains.
Yeah,
so
they are
that's all
superhuman.
fine.
Absolutely. So Legolas is forced to dismount because Krukov is just flailing about. Like, he still recognises the troll as a threat, and he's just like, I'm off. I'm
Yep,
going to utilise my
and-
dexterity, not strength.
He doesn't have time to strike a fancy pose for us.
Oh, well, I'm out. I'm so... unbelievable.
Fighting with the frying pan here is a bit silly. I'd definitely say that. But having that line where he's realising how effective it is, it just never fails to make me smile.
I think I'm getting the hang of this.
I mean,
love
maybe the pan is there to distract us from the fact that there's just like no bodies in the background. Like, considering how many orcs have run in, the floor should just be covered in them.
Oh, I know what's going on there.
Go
They've
on.
run out of models. The DM is removing them to fill in the new enemies.
Yeah, okay, all right. I'll buy it. So everyone is again preoccupied, and we can see that Aragorn is desperately making his way to Frodo.
Yeah, all of our characters here are emoting. It's great.
So Merry and Pippin should absolutely have seen the troll coming around this pillar.
Yeah.
But they don't react at all. They're blind. Galadriel reacted more.
I don't know.
Okay, I went too far. I'm sorry. Okay, so that should be Frodo's legs completely crushed. The hero armor is starting to annoy me.
With
Like-
the strength that
Yeah.
that has been demonstrated here, this does seem unlikely.
Yeah.
Unless its hands are like a crocodile jaw, but in reverse, you know. So where they can't open very well, he can't close his hands.
Yeah.
Oh, did you catch that?
That-
ADR.
Oh.
His mouth doesn't move as he shouts for Aragorn.
Play it again. Oh my goodness. Okay. And the same goes for Aragorn calling Frodo.
Oh no.
Okay, Krukov is startled, probably from the ADR, and Aragorn stabs, but it's in a very vulnerable way, and it puts him in danger.
Yeah, and he looks like he's struggling
Yeah,
with
he
that.
genuinely is shaking. That's good to see. Now, I really like the touch, and I'm sure you do as well, of Merry and Pippin throwing stones. It's not going to do much, but it just shows that they want to get involved.
They're trying.
Yeah, but it's a shame they didn't do it when the troll was in front of them.
Yeah. Oh, that's Aragorn down and out.
More hero armor. You love to see it. You don't. I don't. Okay, so
But even then, right, we've now got Frodo, who's clearly terrified. He's just seen Aragorn smacked out the way,
Yeah.
and he's reaching out for him.
yeah, that's true. So, and this makes sense because Frodo's not a fighter. He's not going to know what's best to do in these kind of situations, and so fair enough. He probably would get distracted.
Oof, here we go. Frodo, he was our main hero in the story.
Yeah.
He's now taken what's clearly a deadly injury. Mm-hmm. Don't worry, he does literally have plot armor in the form of the Mithril.
Yes. But you know what? The blunt force trauma alone should have left him as half a halfling.
Yeah. But at least there's emotion.
There is but that's a big no-no for me. I don't like this. Okay, our allies are confused and enraged. So Boromir is still fighting, somehow, but seriously, where are all the bodies?
I told you, the DM's running out
Yeah,
of
all
models.
right. So despite being a gardener, Sam still fights more competently than the hardened elven warriors with centuries of experience. Anyway, but the orc, despite being bred for war, are pretty feeble. They're pretty weak.
Yeah, we got some plot armor again here with Merry. That grip on his legs, he should also be half a halfling right now.
Yeah, straight up, this is bullshit and strains my suspension of disbelief beyond what it should be. This, I hate plot armor.
I know. That is fair enough.
Yeah.
It happens so much in movies now. It's one thing that you almost have to accept that the heroes are likely to survive.
No, I don't accept it. If everyone was wiping shit on the wall, I wouldn't be
They
happy to
could've-
say that the next film's fine to do it.
No, but sure, they could have done it in such a way that you're not seeing them slammed into walls or being grabbed.
It's true.
They could have done it differently.
All right.
But what we got now, the music, it's turned somber. It's really complementing the difficult fight. Mm-hmm. that concern that you've got about Frodo and expressing that, all of them here, including the troll, are utterly exhausting.
Yeah, it's a very nice touch on the music. Gimli is dual wielding 2 axes, meaning that he has, well, no power at all in any of his strikes.
No, and he's wielding these axes are clearly 2-handed axes.
Yes.
And he's wielding them with one hand.
Yes.
So he's just sort of doing a Galadriel.
Yeah, there is that is true. Maybe his rage is just seriously fierce. But look at this janky cut.
Yeah.
His main axe swaps hands.
Yeah. We called out,
Yeah,
what was it, Thondir for
Yeah.
this? So here we go. It happens in this.
it does.
We've got a nice neck shot coming in here, thanks to our characters working together.
Yep, pulls him up, boom, arrow straight to the throat. And Legolas has been frequently targeting vulnerable locations. So like when he got on top, you saw that he shot into the skull. And he was like, right, okay, this just isn't working. I've just got to keep going for the neck. And with the troll being totaled, they actually get to search the bodies.
Despite that, though, there's no triumph in this moment. This fight was hard won. And again, the music's really complementing that. Now,
Yeah, they all move to assist the wounded rather than stare at their kill. And they're all fine.
He's alive.
Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. So there you have it. That's our analysis of both of the troll fights.
Yep, both the Rings of Power and the Fellowship fight.
Indeed. And we hope that you think that we've been fair. Like, okay, we've shown our cards. We prefer Jackson's, but like, to be honest with you, who doesn't? But, you know.
I certainly think we've tried to be fair. I mean, obviously we did a good job, I think, pointing out that even the Jackson fight has a lot of the same flaws that the Rings of Power one does.
Frickin' plot armor is... it's not okay.
There's definitely quite a lot
Yeah.
of plot armor. I'd actually say there's more plot armor in that one than there is in...
But at least there's
the
characters that deserve plot armor,
Yeah, but
not
we've
just like
also got-
unknown elves that are useless.
We've also got similar issues with some janky cuts, so people swapping hands between things. There's a bit where Legolas looks like he's falling over and then he's just immediately upright.
Yeah,
So
you've also got like the unique one with the sound.
we've got a unique one with the ADR.
Yeah.
It's, so Frodo's mouth not moving as you hear him shout for Aragorn.
I'll do it now.
All right, effective display of that, I think.
Yeah.
So it's got some of the same flaws. It's got some of its own, but despite that, it's got so much more going for it.
So what we've effectively just done is explained how the fellowship could have done better, right? So let's now turn our attention to...
Well, yeah, just a quick one on the fellowship. To improve the fellowship fight, I would have a simple one. You know that bit where Merry and Pippin are just sort of staring around the pillar as the troll comes round?
Yep.
They could have just been fighting in the background, like they are in all of the other scenes.
Yes, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Minor fix, easy. The major fixes that needed doing is more to do with like the plot armor aspect. So I liked the fact that when Aragorn was hit out of the way, he was unconscious.
Yeah. But don't throw Boromir that hard into the wall.
Precisely.
Make it a little bit...
a
chill
bit
out
softer.
A bit. Yeah.
And I think rather than being grabbed and pulled by the troll, if they were just knocked down by it trying to grab at them, or they fell off or something, would have gone a long way to sort of mitigating that plot armor element.
Yeah, very much agree on that.
I know you're not happy with the Frodo one. I give that a pass for magic armor.
No, absolutely not. Like, don't like it at all. As I said earlier, it's one of those things that everyone just accepts. They're just happy with. It's absolute crap. I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
I'll take it as a flaw.
Yeah.
But it's one that I'm okay with simply because at least we were told this is magical armor.
All right. And with the voice where Frodo is crying out for Aragorn, you could have done that just by showing a different scene. Like, it's actually very simple to fix. You could have shown that scene after hearing his audio being played with the troll grabbing his leg or something.
I'd almost say it's a simple mistiming because obviously his arm goes over his mouth as it's saying it. If they just delayed him shouting to the point that his arm was already over, you wouldn't even notice it.
Exactly.
So, simple flaws.
Now, though,
well,
the Prime. What would you have done different?
Well, here's where you kind of need to sort of say that the Fellowship fight was doing well because of the character work. Yep. We're seeing these guys actually care about each other. Every single one of them's involved. They're all contributing to the fight. So the way that you'd have to change the Rings of Power one
Yeah.
is to try and emulate that a bit more.
Yeah, if you've got elves that have been fighting for, thousands of years at this point,
As far as-
you need to display that they're competent. So in the Fellowship, you see that everyone is doing their craft well. All of them. You don't see that at all with the Galadriel fight, which is what you should call it. It's just the Galadriel fight, because the others only serve to make her look badass. And the fact that she doesn't look at, was it Judenko we named him?
Yeah, we call him Judenko.
Yeah, the fact that she doesn't even look at him expresses like that she doesn't care. Like compare that to the heroes like Aragorn, like how much he looks worried.
Fight doing this and then turning back to do a fight. It's like you're not establishing the troll as a threat to her at all.
Yeah. So like with Aragorn, you can see stress in his face. He's like plunging, like it just all across the board, the emotion, the emoting that comes across in the Fellowship. It doesn't make your character weaker to have them emote. It makes them stronger. It gives them something they care about. It could have been that Galadriel's headstrong and she's pursuing this goal. However, she also does care about something other than her own self. But if you want that to be her story, fine. But the show isn't consistent on this.
The other thing I would do, on the same note with Galadriel there, that bit where she runs in and sees the troll and then stops for 15 seconds.
Yeah.
No, I would have had her run in, pause, see what's going on, and then immediately in. So you'd have maybe a second tops pause.
You know what I would have done?
So that even as it's spinning around and picking people up, she's then moving into school hits.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that works. Another angle you could have taken is that she goes in, and as she comes around the corner, just unfortunately, she gets belted in the head because he's just moving around. Then she's on the floor, and at least then it explains, okay, she needs a second to get back
that
up.
gives her a delay.
There's so many different ways that you could have done it. Even if
she's stunned for a moment, and one of the guys that was behind her helps her up, and then they both join the fight.
Yes.
Yep, that would have been
That's
way better.
fine. Yeah, like I just feel like it was a poor execution, and I get what their goal was. I get what they were trying to achieve, and unfortunately, I have to agree with you that although I see more merit in this series than you do, I really do think that they dropped the ball on that scene, and it's an important scene. It's a very early scene, and yeah, I'm with you on that.
Right.
Anything else you have to say, my good sir?
No, I can rip into the other parts when we do another episode.
All right, sounds good. Well, that about wraps it up.
Yep.
Turn them off.
Time to eject.